Well, hi guys to Thailand. This is my English version of my first visit when we took footage with this kind of equipment, really old stuff. And it's an 8mm camera and I put 8mm films in it and they lasted about 3 minutes, so it was a tough thing. So, as you can hear, I'm from Sweden and in 1976 I was a young kid and we had a few friends and we had saved up to go to the big adventure in Thailand. So here we are in Arlanda Airport, Stockholm, taking off in Scandinavian Airlines DC-9, so we could go to Copenhagen and pick up the direct flight from Copenhagen to Bangkok. The travel to Thailand in those days were not, as it became later in the 90s, huge tourist industry movement, but to go there in those days, it was quite an adventure. Not difficult, but you had to save up, and we had been working extra for at least a year, you know, putting every penny aside so we could go. It was a big thing. I mean, we had never been in this part of the world, and we so much anticipated it. So the 8mm film is, of course, as you can see, colors and things, it's not all that bright, but I've done my best to fix it. And with full flaps, the DC-9 lands at Copenhagen, Kastrup, Copenhagen, and the adventure is starting. So what lies ahead of us? Well, in those days, Scandinavian Airlines had 747s. And I'm not sure if this is Kurt or Knut Viking, but we had those back in the days, and it was a great plane. Fantastic. I don't know where Scandinavian let them go. So we flew the cheapest tickets in economy, and you know, you were younger, you were perhaps a little bit thinner, and it was no problem at all. We had a good time, and time flew. Look at those girls, you know, the pretty girls serving at those times. It's 45 years ago, friends. I wonder what they are doing today. Just as yours truly, a little bit older. So we arrived in Bangkok, and this guy was a sort of private taxi. And as you can see, the traffic image was a bit different. Different cars, but still the tuk-tuks. Still the tuk-tuks, and some American great car ahead. I don't know what brand, but maybe you experts know. As you watch this little footage, you will see that people were, of course, dressed different. My buddy here, he bought one of those lottery tickets. I don't know if he won 3 or 6 millions, but I actually knew a Thai family who won 3 millions once. And I can tell you, they were partying for a long time. And suddenly they had a lot of new friends. You will see in the footage that people look different, not only by clothing, an old Volvo, look at that, but also the females much more had short hair. I don't know, fashion perhaps, but long hair came along in Thailand later. Is it because we like it? I have no clue. No, it is a time, and it's a time and fashion. Here we are in our hotel. We stayed at something called New Peninsula. And when we came to our floor, the cleaning ladies, they happily lined up so they could have me taking a picture of them. Thank you very much, girls. I'm sure you're retired now. And then, of course, we had to do excursion of town. And when you come to a new place like this, I've been here so many times since then, so nothing is new anymore. But at this time, it was really so exotic, so different. The air, the smells, the scents, the people, the language, everything. Food, it was a total different world. And you know, filming with this 8mm camera was a lot different than today's, when you have hours and hours and hours with a simple mobile phone. Here we visited a department store. And maybe it looks a little bit like today, doesn't it? And this young girl, she was selling clocks and watches, I think. I am sure she is retired as well. And what is more fun when you come to in your country than watch the street life? We enjoyed it tremendously. And for you, those of you who actually are veterans, maybe expats in Thailand, I'm sure that you will recognize some of the images here. But for us, I mean, you see these stalls in the street, the small food restaurants on the sidewalk, which we ate at many, many times actually. And we're very happy and cheap. This is what I believe is, I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is a rose garden. Maybe a tourist trap, I don't know, but we enjoyed ourselves. Of course it was a show that was laid out to please the tourists and show the local colors, the dances, the people, and well, you see they are dressed like farmers and they're going to show that this is the way it is in the countryside. And the girls are dressed up, and I mean, they just look lovely. I'm sure we were watching without going to sleep. That I can assure you. It's a great experience. Even today, when I watch this footage, I must say I remember it with a very warm feeling. And of course, the elephant, sacred elephant that the Thai people love and adore. We actually at one time, many years later, there was an accident with an elephant who stepped on a landmine, and it was talked about all over Thailand, and everybody all over Thailand actually collected money to heal the poor creature. Oh, come on, boxing! Yeah, and for those of you who think that this is real Muay Thai, well, I mean, at best it may be sparring. Of course, these movements and all the kicks and everything is made up beforehand. And I love Muay Thai, so after having watched hundreds of fights, you can really say, oh, don't worry, folks. He is perfectly all right. Part of the show. Not hurt at all. I think they took turns in going down, depending on what day of the week or what show it was in the day. If you look carefully and know something about Muay Thai, you can see that they are, oh, what's this? Yours truly, look at that. No helmets, no helmets. Shame on you. I love bikes. I had many bikes, and I rode bikes all my life, and smoking. My God, I'm not showing my best side here, am I? But those were different days. You were young and crazy. And we rented some really nice bikes. This was a Honda, I don't remember the cc of it, but it was very nice actually. And now we come down to Pattaya. And for those of you who know this town, you will see some footage that I'm sure that you are not really, that you haven't seen before, because it was empty. This is the big Buddha on the big Buddha mountain, and here is a typical tourist for you. Standing in front of, I mean, come on, this is tourist footage. But, hey, look, check it out, Pattaya. It's nothing, and this is what it looks today. I mean, talk about, maybe it's development, or maybe it's something else, I don't know, but it's for sure it's built up. And these days, in this crisis, it is really very dark future for Pattaya. Can they come back? So we are here on a bit of excursion. I don't know if I finished my story about the elephants. 25 or 30 veterinarians, they gathered for free, and all the money that was collected from all over Thailand, I too shipped in. And lo and behold, they fixed that poor animal. He didn't become totally 100%, but he could walk, he could eat, and he made it. And here, of course, is everywhere the Buddhas that people adore. And you put these very thin blade golds on the statues for worship. I like Buddhism. I'm not a religious person, but Buddhism is a sort of philosophy, and much of what they say it's very easy to agree with. Not that I am a Buddhist, but it's nothing aggressive in it. It's be nice to your next person, and maybe you will be rewarded some other time. So here we took a boat out to one of the islands. In those days there were no plastic boats with big outboard engines. It was a traditional, maybe an ex-fishing boat that you went out with in low and slow speed, and it was very, very nice, very, very relaxing. And I can tell you we enjoyed ourselves. The young captain, of course, had to decorate the boat, put up some flowers with good luck, safe voyage, and greeting to Buddha. Oh, we were stopped by some military or police guys. Hey, what are you doing? I didn't know anything what they were talking about. These days I might have understood, but not then. But we had some negotiations, and off they went, and the young captain was happy, and we continued. There was never any real headaches or problem. So now we arrived at the island, and just a lazy, wonderful afternoon, sitting on the boat, total relaxation. This guy, he was way, 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 way out of the coast, and we really wondered how is he gonna get back, but I hope he did. I can't remember the name of this island, but it was very nice, and they had a little restaurant. And as many of you know, if there's something that Thai people really like, it's eating seafood especially, and those little dried octopus, which I can for myself say, after all these years, I am happy to stay away from. I like Thai food, but some, well, I think it's better remaining with the locals. And here we are, folks, at Marine Bar, the famous bar in Pattaya. Oh my God, look at that sky. Oh, no, I think it's only tea in that glass, don't you think? And smoking, always is smoking. Well, that has been abandoned for many, many years, I promise you. Well, in Pattaya there were Marine Bar, there was Dolphin Bar, and there was another bar which I can't remember the name. And basically that was all that there was. There was not much more. And it was laid back. It was really laid back. It was really nothing happening between the times when the American Navy came in with 5,000 troops on board, and they anchored up and came in tours. And it was good. I was there when they came in, and I mean the town was crowded. There were people everywhere, you know, greeting them. But it was never any problem. I thought there would be a problem, you know, military and young lads and this and that, but not really, not at all. 45 years ago, but we were still smiling and laughing and having fun, right? I wonder what they're doing today. What do you think? Okay, cheers, guy, all right. I don't understand what happened to the hair on this guy. It has definitely changed for today. Now you can count the hair. At that time I couldn't even get a comb through it. Well, that's what 45 years does to you. This was a fun guy. He he had been actually in the Thai army. He was a lovely guy, but he was a little bit of a booster, you know. He wanted to impress us all, and according to himself, Bruce Lee was second to him. Maybe even Jackie Chan. I don't know if Jackie Chan was around then, but if he was, this guy was, of course, superior. Which maybe was not the total truth, but as entertainment in the bar and a nice evening and afternoon, sure, why not? many years I came back and learned that he was no longer with us. Peace on you, buddy. You were a really nice fellow and you showed us around a lot in town. Look at the Pattaya Beach here. It was a beach. It was clean, the water was clean. You didn't have 1,000 new hotels who spewed out all their dirty waters and what have you. You could swim very well in the sea. Not that we did too much, but you could. And you can see the beach is much wider. Now they have minimized it, so it's almost nothing left. And again, if you notice, there is not a lot of activity. I liked Pattaya in those days because it was so laid back. No push, no nothing of that. That became much later. I haven't set my foot in Pattaya for the last 20 years because it became something that I don't like. Pushy, too big, only money, money, money. And well, those of you who have some experience of it, I think you know what I'm talking about. It's not really my style. I prefer Hua Hin. And here we go. I wanted to fly that thing as well, you know, this kiting. It was a rather new thing they started on the beach. But I was afraid I'm going to drop my camera. I really wanted to bring that one up with me. I've tried this activity later, and it is fun, especially if you have a boat driver that knows how to regulate the speed so you can go up and down, up and down. This was an old type parachute, but when you have those new square ones, you can much more easily adjust where you're going yourself. This is Pattaya Beach Road, folks. Can you believe it? And in the bars, I mean, the bars were open, but it was seldom any more activity than this. Very, very, very relaxed. And the bikes, scooters as it is today, were not around then. And even the girls, they rode pretty nice big bikes. I mean, look at her. That's a big bike for a little girl. But she handled it quite well, no problem. So she came in, aha, all right, she's gonna meet her boyfriend for a long time, yes, Oh, young puppy love, isn't it wonderful? Has always been around, yeah, sure. And smile, smile, smile. LOS, Land of Smiles. Okay, 2 more, yeah, okay, thank you. Look at those dresses. I loved it, I really loved it. I came from Sweden, mid-70s, you know, when the leftist revolution was on. Every girl there was not dressing as a girl anymore. It was jeans and big sweaters and absolutely no feminism. The Thai people, the Thai women has always encouraged their feminism. And if people hate me for saying that, well, you're free to do so. I like it. So now we're going to further adventures. He looks a little bit hesitant. Can she handle this bike? Well, I'm a brave boy. I will do it. And of course, no helmets, never helmets. Which causes a lot of people still these days to die daily in Thailand. All these motorcycle accidents, it's terrible. So what do you do when you sit in a bar? Well, you watch the world walk by. That's the fun of it, isn't it? You just sit and hang and people keep passing by and you watch and you enjoy. As I said, will it ever come back? I'm very doubtful. I'm very doubtful. I think those golden days, if that's what you want to call it, these really busy tourist days in Thailand, I think they're over. I'm sorry, but I think they're over. Because so much have been destroyed in those past almost 2 years now. I mean, it started February 2020. This is November 2021, and yeah, soon it's 2 years. No high season this year, and no high season is followed by definitely very, very low season 2022. If we are going to pick up in the high season 2022, if Thailand can come back with 50% of what it was in 2018, 2019 by that time, I will be surprised, happily surprised, because I wish them all well, but it will be really, really tough. You see the traditional way of carrying goods. And what do you say about that hat, guys? Oh, a little bit shy for the camera. Hello, girls. Long time, no see. And the little fishing boats that go out every night and come back with a catch of the day. If you want to eat fresh seafood, well, that's the place to go. And look at this maniac, now with a passenger. 2 people with no helmets on a bike. It's really not good. I think that was actually an early Honda Goldwing. I think it was the very early one. And construction. And after this, we all know that the buildings, the tall buildings, the enormous hotels and villages and everything that has been built up in Pattaya, I wonder if that's going to be used or being able to be sold again. Look at Pattaya Beach. Nice, clean, the way it should be, I think. In those days, I didn't know that the golden rule, hold the camera still and let the thing in front of you move. So this was the hotel we were staying at. It was very, very nice. And as I say here, Thailand had problems, but please, I really wish you the best of luck and may you come back with strength. Thanks a lot.